Hi, everybody. Let's continue our preparation for the game. Today is step 3. By now, you probably already heard of gratitude a million times, and so did I. However, what a lot of people understand under the word, the meaning of gratitude, I think is a little bit distorted. So I want to address that today and use gratitude as a phenomenon that is completely physiological, something not a lot of people know, especially athletes. But athletes are lucky because they're so in tune with their bodies. Some of the most successful people use gratitude, but it's never explained what it feels like. And with gratitude, we generally think that to feel fulfilled, abundant, happy, content, big, generous, we need to do something for it. And the easiest thing to do it is to do nothing, really, is to let it come in. And without relaxation, we're not able to let it come in because, again, if our room can only fit 4 people or 4 chairs or 1 bed, the space needs to expand. The walls need to be flexible in order for more things to come in, or we need to replace it. But then we're still going to have better chairs, but only 4 chairs. Better, let's say better bed, but only 1 bed. If we want more in the quantity, in the amount, we have to be able to accommodate it. And the only way to accommodate it is to relax. Relaxation also comes from neuroplasticity. And what that is that our perception, our mind is able to accommodate more in our head. And that's when we talk about awareness, but let's stick to gratitude to begin with. So once we already learned how to relax, how to be in the moment, how to feel it in our body, because our body is the anchor to the moment. Our body, the sensations, we can feel something in the future, we can feel something in the past sensationally. So we're going to use the relaxation method. And then, as I previously mentioned in the video before, we're going to expand on that today is by going into nature. Going into nature, in my opinion, is the easiest way to feel grateful. Why? Is because if we're able to notice how much is given to us for free and let it in without feeling like we owe something in return, what we generally feel with people, especially with coaches, with federations, with clubs, with parents, we feel that they invested so much into us that we have to give back, we have to perform, we owe them a result, right? However, when we go into nature, in nature, we're able to relax because there is no consciousness that has a very specific image of us. When we go into nature, and I stipulated that it should be wild nature, it should be natural nature, nature that hasn't been touched by humans, because humans generally have rigid and strict vision of beauty. When we go into nature, everything is balanced and it is the way it is. We see some trees are being bent or crooked. We see some bushes are not a perfect shape of a ball. We see animals who we adore or might not, but they have a place to be. And when we go where everything has a place to be and we're there the way we are with no judgment of bad, good, wrong, right, we're there just being. And if you're able to relax and just absorb and feel how it is, what is it that you're expressing when you're just being? And if you're able to notice this non-judgmental environment and let the beauty of natural state of homeostasis to enter you, you will feel that gratitude of being able to give back, that you're full and it's overflowing from you. And that's when you're feeling the self-expression versus a chase of something that's been told has of value. When we're giving out of abundance that we feel of being just ourselves without any judgment, then we're able to explore how much is that we're able to give. What is it that we're expressing into giving? So if you were, for example, to go into nature, any nature, be it desert, be it um, rainforest, be it mountain, and being able to absorb that and feel and see the beauty of it, and then afterwards go to your practice, I guarantee you that with no additional medication, with no additional prep, you're going to perform better, that you're able to quantify it. You're also going to notice that you're performing easier things that you generally struggle with. What it is that when we find a place where we can just be with no restriction, with no judgment, with no, and see, generally people tend to feel judgment as something strict. And yes, it has that connotation. But so far, I haven't been able to find a better word to define judgment, because judgment is a comparison of whether it fits or if it doesn't fit, if it's wrong or right. That's where the judgment is. So maybe what I'm saying is the point of being in the natural state, in the homeostasis, in the balance, is a point that doesn't have a point in the past, in the future, and doesn't have a standard. Just being is a way of not having a comparison to anything. It's just me and that's it. However I am, how am I feeling? It's just an observance. So I look at it, but I don't have an opinion about it. I guess that's one of the stronger description, not having an opinion. Not having an opinion on how the tree is, not having an opinion how the bird is, not having an opinion of how a rock is. It's just purely sensational, and also collecting those sensations and feelings. When I'm sitting on this rock, the rock is warm, I feel great. I'm sitting on a rock that's in the shade, it's cold, I don't feel so good, so I'm going to walk away. It doesn't mean that the rock is bad. It just means that right now I am cold, so I don't need additional coldness. I want to go and warm up somewhere. So I'm looking for something that's needed in the moment. But maybe if I just ran a marathon and I finished, and the marathon was in the sun for the past 6 hours, maybe finding that rock in the shade is going to give me an ultimate relaxation and balance me out, right? So when we're going into nature, we're experiencing the gratitude because all that we see around us. I love the rainforest, and that's my personal preference. It's just because in the rainforest, I get to see the lushness of nature, but it's also that we get to pick berries, we see mushrooms, and all of that nature is giving because it's already there. You don't have to ask for it, you don't have to trade for it, you don't have to offer money for it, you don't have to be any way. You don't have to be with long hair or short hair to be able to just accept the abundance of the forest, where you eat the berry and you don't owe anything for it. You find the mushroom, it's a beautiful mushroom, but you don't have to be in an Arc'teryx jacket and, I don't know, Merrill shoes, because it looks better, or everyone else knows how much it costs, and you hold a social status, right? You can be whomever. You don't wear makeup, you have your hair in a bun, your jacket in holes, but who cares? It's here for you. And that sense that you're here, you're being, and you're able to accept the gifts that are just there for you in that very moment, and you don't owe anything in return, is what will keep you filling up, and then eventually performing and feeling abundant. Because if you're performing from a state of lack and you're squeezing yourself, essentially you're applying aggression onto yourself to be able to perform, then your fans owe you appreciation. Your coaches owe you some praise. Your club owes you money. Your parents owe you acceptance. And then there's constant push pull, and you're feeling like if you're doing something that you don't have and you have to do it, then everybody else has to bend over backwards to give you what you need. If you're going in nature and it's already treating you nicely and you don't owe anything for it, it's there for you just the way you are, you're filling up on it, and then you're going into a performance, and then nobody owes you anything. And that way, your consciousness, your awareness, it goes outwards, but still from within. And you're able to perform out of the abundance because something else filled you up free of charge. You don't owe anything. And then when it fills you up free of charge, you're able to perform free of charge just because it's there, and you're able to just express it. You are able to express that beauty. You're able to express yourself because you yourself just filled up on something beautiful. If you don't have what it takes to perform, maybe you're sick, maybe you're tired, maybe you're just feeling empty, and you have to squeeze the last little juice of what's left of you to be able to perform, then you're empty by the end of the performance, and you're looking for these gratitudes, and you're looking for attention, you're looking for compensation, because what else is going to fill you up if you gave your last in that competition or in that performance? And so your awareness does go outwardly, but then you're looking who is going to give you what you need, who is going to fulfill the void that is already inside, who is going to stitch up the hole that you have within you where your energy is escaping. Then that's a different interaction with the outer world. And then people who are connected with you, they're going to feel weird because you're performing there. But if people can sense when they feel like they owe something back, people can sense that, it's not genuinely given, it's an exchange, it's a trade. When spectators come to an event, they generally gravitate more towards athletes who are abundantly sharing their talent, their performance, their emotions, their being. And that gives a genuine exchange um, without expectation. I'm giving you as much as I have, and I don't expect anything in return. But the irony is that those who don't expect anything in return will actually get more. For example, if it's the fans, they don't feel like you're expecting anything from them, they give you abundantly. Why? Because it's their choice to give. It's not a contract that you had with your fans. I'll perform and you have to clap for me. I'll perform and you have to cheer for me. When spectators come to an event, they come to consume, believe it or not, because it's entertainment, because they've paid money for it, because They're looking for something. And if they have to give more on top of what they already did, make it to the stadium, pay for the tickets, get a jersey, I don't know, get some food. They want to be entertained. They're there to consume. And if you're not abundantly providing, then the then the spectators are going to shift their attention elsewhere where they're receiving that ultimate fulfillment. They're there because they're living part of their life with you. And when you're talking with sponsors, when you're looking for sponsors and agents, your interaction with fans, your interaction with the spectators is probably one of the number one skills that you have to possess, one of the number one attributes that come with you. You have to be loved because if you're an asshole, sure, good for you, you have achieved a lot. But if you're not interacting with your fans, with your supporters in a meaningful way, all your results are going to mean, if not nothing, but very little, because it's you as a person who goes out there and interacts with children who are aspiring to be like you, with people who are in a difficult situation and want to get inspired by your performance, and they might get that additional fulfillment to go and deal with the problem that they previously couldn't. You can't imagine how much you're actually impacting people by your performance. But once you understand that, you will see a different reaction. It doesn't matter what stadium that is, how many people are at the arena. It means how meaningful is the interaction of you with other people. And it's not just the spectators, it's the coaches, it's the staff, it's your friends and family. But it's difficult to be like that when you don't have a lot. And there's part that is attached to gratitude, and gratitude comes from receiving something free of charge, which is so difficult nowadays. I honestly think that nature and a few other things like free days in the art gallery or some community performance of, I don't know, some theater, there's really not a lot that we're sharing today free of charge, free of expectation, which is why when you go into the nature and you're filling up on gratitude, there's something else that starts rising in you, and that's called dignity. And dignity, a lot of the times, is kind of vaguely understood. Dignity is the courage to be who you are. Dignity is also having your own right to choose. And dignity is self respect. And when you fill up on gratitude, these things these things start filling you up, and it's very difficult to change dignity, self-respect, the freedom to choose, the feeling of overflowing love towards aggression, self-pity, um, I don't know, disagreeing with the way life is. Because feeling dignified, fulfilled, grateful gives you one experience of how you feel within yourself. Being ungrateful, pitiful, angry, scared is a different experience. So you really have to choose which one you chase. And me personally, of course, I get depleted. Of course, I have to recharge. Of course, I'm not um, abundant 24/7. But when I start feeling ungrateful or when I start feeling angry, I tend to realize that it's a bell at the door that I need to go and fill myself up again. And people around me are not responsible on filling me up. As parents, we're able to show our children what are the ways of filling ourselves up, but we're not responsible on being the battery recharge. We're not responsible to be the energy generator. Of course, in the beginning, when the child is little and their awareness is not very large, very wide, we're supplying that because the child needs the mother to feel safe, abundant, full, mm, loved. When we grow up, we switch from a person to the world, and the world has beautiful architecture. The world has um, beautiful people on the street. The world has beautiful cars on the street. People, the world has beautiful window fronts of beautiful stores. The world has nature, ocean, rivers, a lot of beauty. And if we're able to let them in free of charge, that gives us a different feeling of how we interact with life. I urge you to do that in reality versus virtual reality, Instagram, TikTok. These things, they're digital, they are perceived by the eyes, but I guarantee you, I had actually recently a very strong debate with someone who's pushing virtual reality as part of the training for professional athletes. However, they themselves have never been a professional athlete, or they played on something like a provincial level. When the person has never experienced an arena full of, I don't know, 20,000 people watching you, they're not able to comprehend what it does to you when you're performing in such a strong, big audience, because it's everything. When you're going and you're actually experiencing real life, there are so many things that you might be or might not be aware of, but that is how the air smells, what's the temperature, how your shoes feel, how the pavement feels under your shoes, how the sounds feel, what's the acoustics around you. So many things that virtual reality is not able to provide because it's not a wholesome experience, which is why I'm saying don't waste your time on looking at architecture on Instagram or Pinterest. Go outside and find that architecture. Or if not, if it's not that, that's why we travel. We travel to fulfill ourselves. We travel to see those things, to experience it, because it ingrains into who we are. It changes the way our DNA is forming. It changes the way our genes are opening or closing, interacting with food, interacting with the air, with smells, everything, because that's the experience. The experience is not a pretend something and imagine how it would feel. No, you have to feel it that way, and you are responsible of actually getting out there and finding what is it that's going to fill you up. And I gave you a number of examples. What is that going to do? If you're doing that for at least 1 week until our next step, I guarantee you that you're already in just 1 week doing it every day, at least for 30 minutes or an hour, you're going to experience big, big breakthrough, and also a big jump in the energy levels that you have. Your aspirations are going to grow. Your energy level is going to grow. Your motivation is going to grow, but it's going to change. And it is that trick within you right now, because right now, your entire being is trained to be a different way. And from my personal experience and from my line of work, I know that the majority of athletes are driven by aggression, are driven by anger, are driven by pursuit. How about you let it come to you and see how that feels? It's an experiment for sure, but in the end, it's your choice. Which way are you going? You're going from a fulfilled performance, or are you going from a lack of self and then performing and squeezing yourself into that? I I'm telling you that because the enjoyment of sport is great. If you are able to charge on that, that's amazing. But the higher are the stakes in your sport, the more demands are going to come. And if you're only going to rely on the joy of sport, it might not satisfy the amount, the volume that you need to be able to sustain the demands of the professional sports of a higher level. You need additional battery, and that battery has to come from something that the world already has there, and it's already free of charge given to you just because you are. The parliament building is not going to change or look any different if you're into that type of architecture. It doesn't care whether you show up in your slippers and a bathrobe, or you're going to show up in a Armani Gucci gown, right? It doesn't change how that free of charge experience affects you. What race you are, what color you are, what I don't know, marital status you have, what health condition you have. The way those free, beautiful masterpieces in the world affect you is not dependent on any material things that we usually chase. That's it for today. Our step 3 is gratitude, dignity, fulfillment, abundance, free of charge. Go do it. You have to do it, because otherwise, it's going to be theoretical knowledge. Won't do you any better. It's just going to be sitting somewhere in your mailbox, on a shelf, doing nothing. You actually have to lift up your butt off the couch and go do it. And it's an investment free of charge for yourself for a great experience. Until next time.